Welcome to the Oklahoma Central Cancer Registry Web Plus online training. This training has been developed to provide you with the information needed to begin abstracting in Web Plus. By now, you have taken the pre-training evaluation and are ready to move forward with Web Plus training. At the conclusion of this video, you will take the post-training evaluation before proceeding to the training abstract. Before proceeding, we have a few reminders. You will need to use the speakers on your computer to hear the audio. You must have a Web Plus username and password. If you do not have a username or password, or if you have forgotten your password, please contact Christy Dabbs. Please have your Web Plus manual available for quick reference. You will need approximately 60 minutes to complete this online training and test abstract. In this training, we will go over the training objectives and background information on Web Plus software. We will review the OCCR Web Plus manual, and we will cover step-by-step instruction on how to complete an abstract in Web Plus. At the conclusion of this training, instructions on how to access a test abstract will be provided. Upon completion of this self-study training, participants will be able to correctly abstract a cancer case in Web Plus and navigate through the Web Plus manual. Web Plus is a highly secure web-based application that transmits cancer data safely over the Internet. Web Plus supports three main functions: online abstracting, file upload, and file download. The upload and download features allow the transmission of files between the Central Cancer Registry and your facility. Web Plus is ideally used for cancer reporting from physicians' offices and other low-volume reporting sources. The Web Plus manual has 3 sections. The core instructions for reporting facilities provide abstracting resources, a list of reportable conditions, case-finding lists, ambiguous terms, and the OCCR submission schedule. The Web Plus narrative includes step-by-step instruction for abstracting a case. And the Web Plus training manual for facility abstractors covers instruction for using CDC Web Plus software. For the online training, we will focus on step-by-step instruction of how to complete an abstract, but will include excerpts from all 3 sections. Please keep in mind that this manual is an extremely useful guide to have for abstraction, especially the Web Plus narrative, which begins on page 15. This is the OCCR's homepage for Web Plus. You will type in your user ID and password. The instructions for logging in can be found in Section 3 of the OCCR Web Plus Training Manual. After logging into Web Plus, you will be directed to the facility homepage. In the upper right-hand corner is the contact information for the OCCR Web Plus administrator. The abstractor name will appear here, and your facility name will be displayed here. You will click on the Training Abstract Low Volume link to access the test abstract. You will click on the Low Volume Facility link to access the Abstractor menu. This is the Facility Abstractor menu. This page displays a ribbon with different options to choose: Home, New Abstract, Find Open Abstract, Release Abstract, Reports, Change Password, and Help. Whenever you are ready to begin abstracting a new case, you will click on the New Abstract. We will not be reviewing all of the options during this training, but would like to point out that this is also the page that you will access in order to change your password or to search for a patient. Before we dive into the abstracting, I want you to get familiar with the layout. On the left side, you will see the fields that you will enter text or codes. On the right side, there is a legend which lists each of the different data entry icons that you will see throughout the abstract. This is also the area where any errors and/or edits will appear that need to be reconciled. Edit results appear each time the abstract is saved. One very important note we need to tell you is that Web Plus will automatically log you out of the system due to inactivity. A timed out message will appear when 50 minutes is up. So as you abstract, remember to save your work. Even if you're not done abstracting the case, you'll need to click the Save button often. We really want you to get familiarized with these icons because they are extremely helpful when trying to navigate through a new abstract. Some fields will have a search icon which looks like a magnifying glass. When you click on this icon, it will display a search box and a list of available choices for coding. A few fields will have a drop-down arrow. Use this drop-down menu to display a list of available choices for coding. Every field has a help icon. Which when chosen will display the OCCR field description and coding instructions. The first section of the abstract is where information specific to your facility will be entered. Some of the fields will be auto-filled every time you open the abstract. Reporting facility will always be coded with your 3-digit facility ID number. Your initials will be in the abstracted by field, and if you look a few fields down, you will see that the type of reporting source field is coded automatically to a 1. If you're a physician office or dermatology office, click on the drop-down arrow and select 4. Now we will go through each field that needs to be coded. In the date of first contact field, you will enter the date that the patient was first seen, inpatient or outpatient, at your facility for diagnosis and/or treatment of the reportable tumor. The date may represent an outpatient visit for biopsy, x-ray, scan, or laboratory test. When only a biopsy is performed, the date of collection should be used, not the date the results were received back from the path lab. Please note that the date format is a little different than you're most likely used to. All dates are entered using the following format: year, 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 month, month, day, day. You will find specific instructions on how to handle missing information in the prompt message box that appears. Please note the next field called Date First Contact Flag. A corresponding flag field will always follow any field that requests a specific date. You will only use the flag if you do not know the date at all. Since you most likely will have the date information, this field will normally be skipped throughout the abstract. However, if the date is unknown, you will use the drop-down and select the appropriate explanation for the unknown date. The next field to complete is the accession number. This unique 9-digit number is assigned to the patient and consists of the year in which the patient was first seen at your facility, as well as the consecutive order in which the patient was abstracted. For example, the first patient abstracted for year 2015 will be assigned accession number 2015000001. The second patient abstracted for year 2015 will be 2015000002. Please note, a patient will have only one accession number in their lifetime, so if the patient returns to your facility in year 2017, their accession number will be 2015000001. Here is an example of an accession log. This is just a simple Excel spreadsheet with a few fields to identify the case. The OCCR can send you a template, or you can make your own. This is a great way to keep track of assigned accession numbers. Let's look at sequence number. The number entered in this field indicates the sequence of all malignant and non-malignant neoplasms over the lifetime of the patient. If the patient only has one tumor, then there will be no sequence of tumors. Therefore, the sequence number 00 indicates that the patient has only one malignant neoplasm in a lifetime. If the same patient is diagnosed with a second malignant neoplasm, the sequence number for the first neoplasm is changed to 01, while the sequence number for the second neoplasm is coded 02. Please note, if you're abstracting a non-malignant reportable neoplasm, such as a brain tumor, then you will not use sequence 00, you will use sequence number 60. If this same patient is diagnosed with a second non-malignant reportable neoplasm, the sequence number for the first neoplasm is changed to 61, while the sequence number for the second neoplasm is coded 62. Use the drop-down menu and select the class of case that reflects your facility's role in the management of the cancer. Please note a decision not to treat, for example, sending patient home on hospice, is still considered treatment. See the Web Plus Manual, Section 1 for additional coding instructions. This next section of the abstract will include information specific to the patient. For any of the name fields, you can use blanks, spaces, hyphens, and apostrophes. Please do not use any other punctuation. Leave the field blank if the information is not available except for the last name. If it is unknown, you will need to actually type unknown in the field. When entering the last name, you can use a space for McDonald or hyphen for Smith Jones. When entering the first name, remember to use the legal first name. For example, if the patient's name is Robert, but he goes by Bob, you will put Robert in the first name field and Bob in the alias field. For females, if the maiden name is known, please record in the maiden name field. If the patient has a title that follows their name, such as Junior or MD, you will enter it into the suffix field. Record the patient's Social Security number without dashes. If Social Security number is unknown, enter all nines. If you have only a partial number, then you will still enter all nines and put a note in the physician referral text field at the end of the abstract. Although the medical record number is not a required field, it is very helpful when we have to follow back to your facility. Record the patient's date of birth. Please notice that the date format is year first, followed by month and day. For birthplace, state, and country, use the drop-down and select the appropriate state and country in which the patient was born. If unknown, use the drop-down menu and select ZZ for unknown state and ZZU for unknown country. Do not assume when coding these fields, and only code if the birthplace is documented in the patient's chart. To record the patient's sex, use the drop-down menu and choose the appropriate code to record the sex of the patient. To record race, use the drop-down menu and choose the appropriate code to record the patient's race. Race fields 1 through 5 must all be completed, even if the race is unknown. If the patient is multiracial, record the minority race in race 1 and other race in race 2. If the patient has only one applicable race, you will select 8-8, no additional race, for the remaining fields. There are examples of different race scenarios in the Web Plus Manual, Section 2. To record Hispanic ethnicity, use the drop-down menu and select the patient's Hispanic ethnicity. If ethnicity is unknown, select 9 for unknown. For primary payer at diagnosis, use the drop-down menu to select the code that describes the primary payer or insurance carrier at the time of the initial diagnosis and/or treatment. If primary payer is unknown, select 99 for unknown. When recording the address at diagnosis, record the physical address of the patient at the time of diagnosis. If you do not know what the patient's address was at the time of diagnosis, you can document the address as unknown. If the patient lives in a nursing home or is in a correctional facility, you will put the name of the facility in the supplemental field. Otherwise, just leave it blank. Use the drop-down and record the state of the patient's current residence. If you do not know the 9-digit zip code, it is okay to use the short 5-digit zip code. Use the search icon and select or search for the county of the patient's residence at the time of diagnosis. If you do not know the county, you can use Zip Express to determine the county. The web address for Zip Express is listed in the Web Plus Manual, Section 2. You can also search for the county just by using your internet browser. Record the patient's current physical address. This address may be the same or different from the patient's address at diagnosis. Use the same instructions that were indicated for the address at diagnosis. In the date of diagnosis field, record the date the cancer was first diagnosed, whether clinically, a physician's documentation, X-ray, CT scan, or pathologically through biopsy or surgery. Refer to the list of ambiguous terms in Section 1 for language that represents a diagnosis of cancer. Please note the date format of year, month, and then day. If you do not know the date of diagnosis, try to estimate. If unable to estimate, then you will leave this blank and use the date flag in the next field. The age of diagnosis is calculated based off of the date of birth and date of diagnosis. Click the Calculate button to derive the age at diagnosis. There are several text boxes listed throughout the abstract which allow you to document any information used to derive the applicable codes. For the primary site text field, you will document the site that the tumor originated, laterality, and any subsite. See the text field example. The tumor site is the lung, the subsite is the upper lobe, and the laterality is right. For solid tumors, use the search icon or use the ICDO book, also known as the purple book, to find the code for the tumor site. Code the site in which the primary tumor originated, even if it extends into an adjacent subsite. Code the primary site, not the site of metastasis. If primary site is not stated, code to unknown primary site, C809. The ICDO book should not be used to code primary site for hematopoietic and lymphoid neoplasms. When you click on the magnifying glass, a search box will appear. Type the primary site in the search field and click Search. This will display a list of possible codes for that primary site, depending on the subsite. For example, if the primary site is lower lobe of the lung, you would use code C343. Just click on the code and it will autofill in the primary site field. Use the drop-down menu and select the laterality of the primary tumor. Review the list of paired sites in Section 1 of the Web Plus manual to determine which primary sites require laterality to be coded. For tumors not listed as a paired organ, select 0. Organ is not a paired site. In this text field, you will document the histology, also called morphology, of the primary tumor. Always include the grade and behavior as well. In the next field, you will code the histological type. For solid tumors, you will use the search icon or use the ICDO book, the purple book, to search for the appropriate 4-digit code. Histological type lookup. Type in the type of cancer in the search field, and it will pull up any histology codes that match your term. As seen here, there may be other synonyms listed for the same histology. To limit search results, use a comma after the histology, then space for specific histology. For instance, for adenocarcinoma, NOS. Type in adenocarcinoma in the search bar, then comma, then space, NOS to get this specific histology. Please note, for hematopoietic and lymphoid neoplasms, go to Section 2 in the Web Plus manual for further instructions on coding histology for these types of tumors. Use the drop-down menu to select the behavior of the primary tumor. Tumor behavior is used by pathologists to describe whether the tumor is benign, borderline, in situ, or malignant. Benign and borderline behavior codes are used for intracranial and central nervous system primary sites only. In the absence of pathological examination, code behavior as invasive. For the grade differentiation field, you will also use the drop-down menu to select the applicable grade of the primary tumor. Code grade is unknown, 9, if no grade is mentioned in the pathology report or if there is no pathology report available. The diagnostic confirmation field is used to describe how the tumor was confirmed. Use the drop-down menu and select the appropriate code. See Section 1 in your Web Plus manual for additional instructions for coding this field. In the physical exam text box, you will document information obtained when the patient presented to your facility. Always include the date of the exam as well as information in regards to the history of current tumor and any clinical description of tumor. This is also where you document the patient's gender, age, race, and ethnicity if available, which will back up any codes used in the patient information section. The X-ray scan text field is for documenting any imaging which provides information on tumor characteristics and extension of the tumor. Document the date exams were done along with a brief description of the findings. This text will back up any codes used in the stage of disease section. In the diagnostic procedures text box, Document all diagnostic procedures which provide information on the initial diagnosis of cancer, such as biopsy or needle aspiration. Always include the date and name of any pertinent procedures. In the pathology text field, you will document information obtained from cytology and pathology reports. Include information regarding final diagnosis and always include the date and type of procedure. Now we will begin the stage of disease section. For tumor size summary, you will record the largest dimension or diameter of the primary tumor in millimeters in a 3-digit field. 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters. To convert centimeters to millimeters, multiply by 10. For example, a tumor that is described as 3.4 centimeters would be coded as 034. In the regional lymph nodes positive field, you will record the exact number of regional nodes found to contain metastasis. Use the search icon to select the appropriate value. Only record lymph nodes that were removed or biopsied. Do not code any lymph node found clinically by way of X-ray, scan, or palpation in this field. If the exact number of lymph nodes is documented in a pathology report, you will code the exact number. If a biopsy or aspiration of regional nodes was performed and is positive, code 95. If no regional lymph nodes were examined by a pathologist, code 98. In the regional lymph nodes examined field, you will record the number of regional lymph nodes that were removed and examined by the pathologist. Do not code any lymph node found clinically in this field. Use the search icon and select appropriate code if no exact number is stated. If only biopsy or aspiration of regional node is performed, code 95. If no regional lymph nodes were examined by the pathologist, code 00. The diagnostic procedure field is used to document how the cancer was diagnosed. Use the drop-down menu and select the appropriate diagnostic procedure. If no diagnostic procedure was performed, you will use code 00. Record the date of the diagnostic procedure in the Date Diagnostic Procedure field. If no diagnostic procedure was performed, leave blank and use the appropriate flag in the next field. The surgery text field should be used to document surgery date, facility, and name of surgical procedure. If no surgery was performed, then type None Performed in the text box. The surgery primary site field indicates what type of surgery was performed. Use the search icon and select the appropriate code that describes the type of surgery performed. If no surgery to primary site was performed, you will code 00. Next, you will record the date of this surgical procedure to the primary site. If no surgery was performed, leave blank and use the appropriate flag in the surgery flag field. The scope regional lymph node field is used to describe any removal, biopsy, or aspiration of regional lymph nodes. Use the drop-down menu to select the appropriate code. The next field is to document surgery to sites other than the primary site. Use the drop-down menu to select the appropriate code. If no surgery of other sites was performed, you will code 0. In the patient outcomes section, you will code the date of the last contact and vital status. In the date of last contact field, record the date your facility last saw the patient, contact the patient, or received outside reports on the patient. If the patient has died, record the date of death. If that date is unavailable, leave blank and use the appropriate flag in the next field. To code the vital status field, you will use the drop-down menu to select the last known vital status of the patient. The treatment referral information provides 2 fields to document what physician was seen and where the patient was referred. Use the search icon and search for the physician who is responsible for the overall management of the patient during diagnosis and/or treatment for this cancer. Files from the Oklahoma State Medical Board are used to populate this field. If a physician is not listed in the lookup table, leave this field blank and type the name in the next field. In the referral text box, record the name of the facility the patient was referred to. This box can also be used to list a physician not found in the lookup table. After saving your completed abstract, you will need to review any errors that appear on the right side of the abstract screen. If there is an error, click on the field link, and it will automatically take you to the field within your abstract. When you are finished correcting your errors, save the abstract again. If you need assistance with clearing your errors, contact your facility consultant at the Central Registry. Once your abstract has passed all edits, it can be released to OCCR by clicking Yes. If you want to send more than one case to the Central Registry, click No, and you can do a bundle release at another time. See page 48 in your Web Plus manual for instructions on how to do a bundle release of abstracts. Thank you for participating in the online Web Plus training. At this time, we ask that you complete the post-training evaluation. After completion of this post-evaluation, please type the web address below into your internet browser so that you can begin your Web Plus test abstract. Please contact the Central Registry with any questions you may have. Thank you.